Oh dear, excuse me. It always surprises me because the picture kind of hangs there for a while and you think, am I live? Am I live? Am I live? And then, yes, I am. So, hi, good evening. Thank you so much, or good morning, wherever you're viewing from. Thank you so much for joining me to have a little look at what this month's and this day's new moon in Leo is telling us. Of course, Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet, he called the moon inconstant, and love could be viewed that way as beware the inconstant moon, because of course the moon has phases and changes. And as we are at this moment basking in the new moon energy, which happened a few hours ago, we are fully in that new moon energy. But I think, and I'm just going to double check, that right now the moon is void, which is not so good. Let me just check. I'm just waiting for the chart to come up when it thinks about it. So, yeah, the moon's void. So, when the moon is void, and it often happens after or just before the moon changes signs, or it also happens like this after a kind of lunar event, because the moon has to make an aspect to, it has to be applying towards one of the other cosmic bodies for us to actually have an aspect that we can talk about. So the moon is void. Mercury retrograde is in its shadow state. And this afternoon, I recorded my take on this month's this month's Mercury retrograde, which starts officially on the 23rd of August. So last time I did my live stream, if some of you that are watching were there then, you will know that it was a little bit challenging because I wasn't sure anyone was there at all. And I could have just been talking to myself for an hour, and maybe, and sometimes actually, I have to say, because of course I'm just in a room with my laptop, and my lights and my ring lights that you can see reflected. I still can't get them in the right position. It is on my list of things to address, but it's taking time. So thank you. At least the live chat is functioning this time, which is fantastic. So what I'll do, as I always do, I will give you a little bit of a chat about this new moon energy and what we can expect, because it's quite an interesting one. And then I'll have a look at your questions and comments. And Evita, love your name, Evita, loving the green on me. Well, thank you very much. It's actually one of the colors of Mercury. And because I was pre-recording the Mercury retrograde, I thought I'd wear green. So that's why I've got my, we've got someone here from Florida. Well, it's very hot and humid in Florida. It's very hot and humid in Gozo. I can't do anything with my hair. It's just whatever. I try and just kind of put a bit of a wave in it and just goes. So it's really difficult. So let's think about what the new moon is about, because the moon comes from its kind of period of kind of darkness into sight. So you remember, if you watched my Venus star point, I was talking about how Venus retrograde, and when it actually conjuncts with the sun, it goes into a kind of invisible place. We cannot see it. It is taken from our sight. The moon too has this quality where it is taken from our sight. And this, of course, is when we're in the dark, which is where we have to have faith. So it's always very important when we're in the dark to have faith. So there is something about the cyclical progress and process of the cosmos, of the moon's phases, that keeps us in that rhythm, in that flow, in that kind of divine flow of knowing that even when we're in the dark, the universe or the cosmos has our back. And it's so easy to forget that. So easy to forget that these energies are at our disposal to guide us, to help us. But what do we know about the moon in Leo? Because Leo, of course, rules the fifth house. It's the sign of entertainment. It's the sign of more kind of like it's love, but it's more like short-term love affairs or relationships that form that then go on to become a seventh house issue. So there is that element to it as well. It's also about fun. It's about entertainment. It's about the theatre. It's about partying. And, you know, my God, we've had such tough times over the last few years. And I mean, my heart goes out to the people of Maui and of the Hawaiian Islands, because the fire, a fire like that is just so, well, any disaster is so devastating for the people, for the planet. And I think we all contend to get a bit desensitized when we are at a distance, especially because we see it on the news, so where it's difficult for us to associate it with it. But I contacted a client who had connected with me in the past from Maui, and I contacted her because I was understandably concerned. And thankfully she's okay, and she emailed, and at some point we will have a chat. But she said she was just in total shock. But why I'm talking about these disasters that have been happening is because fire, Leo is a fire sign. And so we get this very potent fiery energy at this time. And a new moon in Leo is like the beginnings of a romance, the beginnings of wanting something that can become more than what it is now. We have that hope, we have that fantasy, if you like. The problem is with this particular new moon is that it's squared by Uranus. Now, Uranus, if you remember, this massive, big gas giant that is out there beyond the asteroid belt, but before you get to the Kuiper belt. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. And certainly, whilst retrograde Venus has been making aspects to Uranus in Taurus, which will be squares, then we are getting these shocks and shocking events like fire. Will you get shocking events about love? Well, you know, it's the fifth house. So someone's put here, fifth house gives me, oh dear, I don't know how I can absolutely possibly interpret what you're trying to say, but I think I get the general gist of it. So fire is going to be around with the sign of Leo. And I saw on the news just before I came in here that there are now fires in the Canary Islands, on the island of Tenerife. So it is happening everywhere. So this is a new moon. And why am I saying that Uranus squaring the new moon could be problematical? Well, if you think of it, things that happen suddenly and unexpectedly, we would think with a new moon would be good. Oh, unexpected new love, unexpected unexpectedly bumping into somebody that, we go and have a really, really fun time with. But this is a square. This has consequences. So what are the consequences that any of us can experience with Uranus today squaring this new moon? I'm looking at the event chart, and I'm not technical enough to know how to bring the event chart up onto a live stream. I'm sure there's a way, but my technical skills for my age are not bad, but they don't stretch to that. But anyway, the event chart shows us that Uranus and Jupiter are in the 8th house. Now, this is the house of transformation. It can also be it's sex, death, beginnings, endings. It can be commitment. So if you think of it, a new moon, love affairs, maybe somebody thinks, oh, new moon energy. I wonder if she will propose to me, for example. And then the unexpected shock that may come from that is that, yes, they may well do. But is it actually what is best for you? So that's what we have to look at. So what I'm saying, with this energy that is going to be around for a few days, for a couple of weeks really, because the new moon energy will last more or less up until the next full moon. And this month, of course, we've got 2 full moons. We had one in Aquarius at the beginning of the month, and we've now got a full moon in Pisces on the 30th, 31st of August, which will be known as a blue moon, which is when I break into song. And but then I'll get done for copyright, so I can't. So put a big thing across your video saying cannot be shown or something like that anyway. But this 8th house square to the new moon is in the 11th house. This is good. This is our hopes and our dreams and our wishes. So what do we make of Uranus squaring the new moon? I like this. I've just caught a comment, which is from Silver Screen, saying, I've started a new love affair with my authentic self, both the light and the shadow sides. Well, you know what? That is perfect use of that Uranus square. Because, of course, when we look within, when we make that journey within, we also find things that we are not comfortable with, that we do not particularly like. So that is always going to be part of this kind of energy. But the ascendant, the rising sign for this chart is Libra, which of course is all about relationship. It's about harmony. It's about balance. And so there's something about, for me, this is about, if we get too over enthusiastic about a new love, right, for those of you that are in that kind of situation, my sense is take a step back. Don't get fooled because it's a new moon, so it must mean it's all going to take off and be absolutely wonderful, because that Uranus square really worries me. It may be that this isn't actually what's best for you. It may be that the divine has something better for you. Because sometimes we forget that when something is out of our reach, it's meant to be out of our reach. It's meant to be out of our reach because it's not for us. And if only all of us, and I include myself in this, listened to the signs which tell us all the time, don't go that way, you're going this way. I want to go this way, I want to go this way. And it's saying, no, we need to go this way. But I don't like it that way. This way is right. And ultimately, we will discover that this is the way that is actually best for us. So what else can we learn about this new moon? Because Mars in Virgo is conjunct Mercury, our messenger of the gods, our planet of communication in Virgo. Now, Mercury rules Virgo, and this, of course, is where Mercury is going to go retrograde. So, what does this tell us? You see, Mars wants to get going. Mars wants to move. Mercury is overthinking it. So there could so also if we take this energy, so we have the new moon being squared by Uranus. It could even flip it and make it go the wrong way, that we go, oh, I don't feel right about this. This doesn't feel right. And we miss something that is meant for us. It can get so confusing. But Mercury in Virgo conjunct Mars in Virgo is us overthinking the action we want to take. Virgo is about attention to the details. Let's just take or use the analogy that there is somebody new that comes into our life. Now, this could be a business partner or potential business partner. This could be somebody we already know that we get to know a bit better. What I feel this new moon energy is saying is really take it slow, because we're in shadow energy from Mercury. We're well into the Venus retrograde. That doesn't go direct till the 4th, and it's not out of its shadow till the beginning of October. So we have a lot of the cosmic bodies asking us to just be still. And if you think, while I'm actually doing this video, the moon is void, which is really not a good time to do a live stream. But here we are. And here we are. So the other interesting energy that we've got is Pluto, our planet of transformation, retrograde in Capricorn, in the 4th house of this chart, trines Uranus in Taurus. I do feel there is something more about where we all live. Now, this could be in general the planet. This could also be the country that you are living in. This is something about finance and the economy of the country that you live in. And the new moon is asking us to be mindful of taking unnecessary risks with our finances, because Uranus and Jupiter are in Taurus, which is all about money and finance. So I do feel that that could be one manifestation of this energy. Also, retrograde Pluto in Capricorn is making a sextile, which is helpful, excuse me, to retrograde Neptune in Pisces. This is just making things a little bit unclear for us at the moment. We think we can see where we're going and what we're doing, but this really is a time. I've just done this, as I say, pre-recorded video for Mercury retrograde, which will hopefully be uploaded round about Saturday. And one of the things I'm saying in that is about the need for us all at the moment to take time out. I think that emotionally, psychologically, physically, the energies of the cosmic bodies have been really kind of really quite challenging for all of us in different ways. I don't think I know anyone who is, sort of skipping through the meadows, gathering pretty wild flowers. I just, I certainly don't remember the last time I had a peaceful time in the last 3 to 4 years where I could say I was skipping through the meadows gathering pretty flowers. Not that I can skip now. I can barely barely walk. No, that's not quite true. I can walk, but I certainly can't run, and I certainly can't skip. I would fall flat on my face. But Deborah, who's just popped a message up saying you would like your chart done. Listen with pleasure, Deborah. Just please go to my website, pennydix.com, www.pennydix.com. If you go to my channel, you'll find a link to it, or there should be a link underneath this video. So I'm just looking at what you're saying here, Silver Screen. Living from your heart versus just your mind has brought you so much peace and has helped make better decisions in life and love. I do think you make a really valid point, Silver Screen, because there's something about what happens for all of us is we get disconnected from the different parts of ourselves, like we get disconnected from different parts of the cosmos. We forget that we are a whole. We forget that we are a human race who need to be connected with each other, to support each other. We forget that we can't do everything all alone. We need to have some sort of help. I love this Aborigine ancient Australia. Oh, I love it, Carrie-Anne. Mabu, Mabu, new cycle begins. Time of being small is over. Malu, Mabu, Nagalulia, have beautiful life. Streaming. Good night. How beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That is quite beautiful. So what I want to say is we need to pay more attention to our inner world. And I think with all these retrograde planets, because we've got 2 more of the outer boys going retrograde at the end of this month. So Jupiter actually goes retrograde on the 4th of September in Taurus. Uranus goes retrograde on the 29th of August. So we've got this general slowdown. And I think it's interesting because for those of you watching in the Northern Hemisphere, it's our summertime. It's our time where we kind of expect to slow down a bit and for things to close down a bit. And we get, if we're lucky enough, we have holidays. If we can afford them, we have days out or adventures or whatever, or entertaining barbecues. But of course, for all of you living in the Southern Hemisphere, and I know a lot of you tune in from the Southern Hemisphere, you are in winter heading towards spring. But you are heading towards that beautiful birth, that rebirth when we get the autumn equinox, which for you is the spring equinox, which comes mid-September. So there is this kind of rhythm, and this brings us back to the moon, because the moon is about us honoring the cycles. Today is a new moon. Let's suggest that we make it about new ways of taking care of us, new ways of entertaining ourselves, of enjoying the arts and creativity and all those kind of areas of life that we forget to even sometimes listen to music, because we're so caught up in the doingness of everything. So what I want to say is, I think that there's something also, a positive aspect of Uranus squaring this new moon is breaking through our own reluctance to move forward, our reluctance to embrace the new. It's really pushing us, encouraging us to, I was going to say, to reach for the stars, to reach for the moon. We're at the beginning of the cycle of the new moon. The new moon brings in new hope, new beginnings, new life, new starts, new opportunities. If they are challenging, which Uranus might bring in, Uranus might make you fearful of taking the steps to break through energies that hold you back, or situations, or people. This is about changing your routine. Virgo, where Mercury and Mars are, where Mercury is going retrograde, Virgo is about our routine, our daily routine. Mars is saying, stuff this, let's get some action going here. I don't like it in this orderly kind of sign of just everything going duh, duh, duh. And this is by no means being disrespectful to any Virgoans watching, because Virgo, without you, nothing would ever get done. Let's face it. But if we take it in regards to the general energy, Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury is going, oh, I love it when I'm here. I think I'm just going to spend the next month here. Because basically that's what Mercury is going to do. Well, in fact, well into September. I think I'll just stay here for quite a while, really. I'll do one of my little retrograde phases and slow things down a bit and just go over the details. But this is about us changing our routine. I think this new moon is asking us through Uranus, which is about thinking outside the box, to be innovative, inventive. Maybe we or you are the ones that are going to shock a few people by decisions you make around this new moon. You know, the other energy that I haven't talked about is Chiron, our asteroid of wounds, of healing, of soothing the way, of helping us look at our inner wounds and finding ways to work with them. Chiron in retrograde in Aries, which is in the 7th house of this chart, makes a lovely trine aspect to the new moon and to retrograde Venus, that of course is also in Leo. Venus is kind of conjunct the new moon, but because it's moving away, because it's going back through Leo, it isn't a kind of solid conjunction. It's not sort of pushing much influence into the new moon, but Chiron trining is saying, this new moon, stop looking over there for all new things and bringing in lots of new things. Deal with what you've got. Look at what you have now. How can you make what you've got now really work for you? How can you breathe new life into a relationship that has got a bit same old, same old? How can you find a way to have fun with each other? To stop dwelling on the negativity. It's very easy to get dragged down into that kind of spiral of negativity. And what's just come into my sight as I glance at the chart is, of course, the nodes, which are so closely connected with the moon. In October, we're going to be getting eclipse season. So that's going to be interesting. They're going to be in Libra and also in Aries. So if you're Libra or Aries, you need to pay attention to the eclipses that we're going to get in October. Now, the North Node in Aries is basically conjunct Eris. Now, I know you know about Eris because I've talked about Eris a lot. She was the goddess who was not invited to the wedding. She goes anyway. She says, stuff that, I'm coming anyway. And she takes a gift of a golden apple. And she said, this is for the fairest of all the goddesses. And she tosses it into the room full of goddesses who all squabble about, I'm fairest, I'm the most beautiful, I'm the loveliest. And the church bells just started donging as I said that. So this is quite interesting. So Eris, basically, Zeus has to ask Paris to choose the most beautiful goddess, and he chooses Aphrodite because Aphrodite has promised him. She said, Paris, listen, I will give you the love of the most beautiful woman on the planet, Helen of Troy. Now, we all know what happened then, don't we? 10-year Trojan Wars. So I tell you this story because the North Node, remember, is about our destiny. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is about new beginnings. We have a new moon, new beginnings, looking afresh at things. The North Node is conjunct Eris. Eris is quite a rebellious young lady. She likes to stir the pot. She likes to get her big wooden spoon out and stir up all the energy. And it's Aries. So they are widely conjunct Chiron, also retrograde in Aries. What I'm getting at is they're in the 7th house of this chart. If you have difficulties in close personal relationships, this new moon can really help you find ways to make amends, to discuss. Think of that Mercury in Virgo, discussing the finer details, chewing the cud, going over what needs to be looked at. So there is something about this energy that if you take the risk, Uranus, you see, squaring that new moon, could be about risk taking, because of course, when we take risks, we don't actually know whether it's going to be good for us or not. And what I feel with this energy is that's entirely up to you. It's how brave you are and whether you feel in the depths of your soul that it's what you should be doing. So that's my take on this new moon. And if you want to see the other version I did of it, it's already up on my YouTube channel, and I do go through all the 12 zodiac signs and tell you the part of your life that is most affected by this new moon. So, and as always, listen to your sun sign and your rising sign. Some astrologers also talk about listening to the moon sign. I've never particularly done that with my moon sign, but that's just me. If you want to listen to your moon sign as well, then listen to your moon sign. And let me have a look at some of your lovely, lovely, lovely chat. Let's see. Someone, oh, okay. So thank you, Jennifer. You enjoy listening to me. That's nice. That's lucky. So thank you very much. I enjoy listening to me. Not really. Isn't it funny when you listen to yourself back? Isn't it weird? But I'm getting used to it now. Mind you, I've got used to it over the years because I have done quite a lot of stuff. But let's have a look. So Janice, yes, in Ireland, enforced resting. Very good point. Now, how am I using this new moon? Because for me, this is in my first house because I'm a Leo rising. So I'm actually using it I'm being more ordered. That's the Mercury in Virgo, which is actually my second house, but I'm trying to be more disciplined and ordered. And I'm actually trying to give myself a little bit of slack, give this time to heal, because obviously when things like this happen, the cosmos is saying, slow down, Penny, take it easy. And I don't always listen. Do any of us listen? Not always. So I think probably we've covered what needs to be said. As I said, if you want to have a one-to-one reading with me, I've actually still got some spaces, not many, but one or two in August. And September is quite good. And if you are on the East Coast of America, the session time would be something like 10 o'clock in the morning, or on a Saturday if you work in the week. And if you are on the East Coast, it would probably have to be either very early in your morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, or it would have to be the previous night at like 11 p.m. There's no other way to do it. I only have the energy I have, and I'm not a night owl. I just need my sleep. So I'm just would be rubbish for you if I saw you any later than my kind of cutoff point in the late afternoon. And so the website, as I say, is pennydix.com. Just email me on penny@pennydix.com and I will come back to you and tell you what you have to do and all of that stuff. Do check out the channel for everything else. Thank you so much for all of you for your support. Also, your well wishes for my poorly torn bicep, which I definitely feels a lot better. And also, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Sharing has the most amazing effect. It apparently it pushes you up in the algorithms. I really don't know how YouTube works, but I'm just going with it. We hit 24,000 today, so thank you all. That was super exciting. So let's try and get it up a little bit higher. Anyway, enough of me wittering on. And I did want to just mention actually my jewelry because some of you have asked about it. I am going to put a link on my website for the lady that recycles gold and family heirlooms and makes them into these extraordinarily wonderful memories of the past. And her name is Tara Lois Jewelry. You can look her up on the internet, but her website address is, I'm going to put it on my website. Her website address I will put on my website. So then you get to look around my website as well, you see. So I know some of you have asked me where I get them and where I wear them. She made my lovely penny for me, but she doesn't want to do any more of those. She said, please don't tell anyone I do names because I don't want to do them. So anyway, listen, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a really blessed new moon, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.